Hi, this is Jonny Kosmo, and you're listening to KAOS Olympia.
Hey, Markley here. This is the 63rd episode of Low Profile. So a couple of years ago, my friend and former bandmate Nehemiah told me about this band he started playing bass for and thought they'd be a good match for this show. And I loved what I heard. In fact, I started listening to it all the time. But I was hesitant to invite them on because A, they only had 2 albums out, 2019's Jonny Kosmo and 2021's Pastry. And I usually like to do a lot of research in a deep discography before having them on as a guest. And B, I already had a years-old, overambitious list of dream guests who, to my pleasant surprise, kept accepting my invitations. But here's the thing, the more I listened to those 2 albums, the deeper the discography felt. I got in touch with Jonny and Nehemiah, and then later in June of 2022, we managed to get together while my family was visiting Los Angeles. Turns out the 3 of us have a bizarre experience in common almost 20 years ago. We'll get into that later. We also discussed Jonny's earlier days on the East Coast when he went by Jonny Tea, putting a little sunshine in your ears, talking about some sonic fondue, how Nehemiah got involved on bass, how much fun it is to play bass, the intersection of doing therapy and song crafting, and of course, the ideal burger. As of November 2022, Jonny Kosmo now has a 3rd album out called Speaks the Quilt. We've been hearing more sugar on top from that record. There's a link to it on this episode's website at lowprofilepodcast.com if you'd like to hear all 14 songs. Okay, you ready? Let's hang out on the porch. From Highland Park, I'm Markley Morrison, and this is Low Profile. I'm on the porch of Jonny Kosmo. What's up, Jonny?
What's up? Thanks for having me. Super excited.
And I have a dual agent here, Nehemiah St-Danger.
Hello.
So you play in Jonny Kosmo's band.
I sure do.
The name of that band is Jonny Kosmo.
Yeah.
I saw a live clip where you said, "We are Jonny Kosmo."
Yeah.
Do you use that in a singular way as well?
Yeah, I use it singular and plural, and I feel like the band wouldn't really be the band unless it was the band of people playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nehemiah, have you ever said, "I am Jonny Kosmo"?
I am Jonny Kosmo.
Before we started rolling, we all came to the realization that we all are previous employees of the bookstore bar.
Ever heard of it?
3 different stores,
Yeah.
all around the same time, early oddies.
I think it was 2003 specifically for me. I was thinking about it, like 03 is when I worked there.
I definitely was working there in 03, yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
What was your role?
I was a stock person. I definitely remember like unpacking a lot of magazines and like working that like cafe area.
Okay.
Like,
How about you?
I was working in the CD and DVD department.
Oh,
That's where I was too.
that's where I wanted to be.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, they started me out there.
So
And,
cool.
I would come in really stoned and hungry, and
Uh-huh.
I would eat a lot of the Godiva chocolate that was sitting on the
Oh
counter.
yeah.
And then
Those
I would
little
get like
chocolate bars.
a blood sugar crash, and then I would just do a really bad job working.
I remember, yeah, I was dirt poor when I was working there. Like
Same here.
some days I'd be pushing my Volkswagen Beetle halfway to work. And I would get there and be like, oh, I guess I'll sneak a few of these chocolate bars with the almonds because that seems like it's got some kind of protein in it.
Yeah.
And, that would keep me going. Ooh, we're getting a nice close-up recording of whatever
Whoa.
this thing is.
It's like a.
What, is that like a June bug?
It's like a beetle bee.
It looks like,
Yeah.
half bee, half beetle. Is this going to be the second time I get stung during an interview?
Have you gotten stung before?
Yeah, last time I did an outdoor interview, matter of fact.
To the structural, you got the bee again.
Get it by the microphone so everyone can hear it. Oh, it got me.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Bit me.
Oh no. Those bees.
Sorry about your bee.
You know, one other thing I should mention, is I'm going to be training to become a hibachi chef soon.
No
which
way.
I'm really excited about.
Wow.
Yeah, blend my love for food and, sample art.
Yeah.
Just kind of, yeah, I'm really excited. My sister got me, for my birthday, like a 10-week lesson at Benihana to become a hibachi chef.
Wow.
So, gonna be doing that in July.
Wow.
I might just
crash
like
course
give
in
up
the
my whole
hibachi
career
arts.
as a therapist and just go hibachi. I mean, I could see myself doing it.
Hey, that's a form of therapy too, man.
Exactly. Onion volcanoes?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Throwing shrimps in people's mouths?
If you
Oh,
ever
yeah.
need to do target practice, I'm always available.
Yeah, you got a big mouth too. It's a good place to start.
I started playing music in bands like around the time I was working at
Word.
a little bit like rock and roll on the side. Like I said, I always had like a little Tascam cassette recorder, so I kind of always was messing with those, and I really enjoyed playing to like myself, like recording something and then like kind of jamming on top of it.
Yeah.
But,
Where were you living back then?
I lived in Northampton, Mass.
Okay.
And then I lived in Burlington, Vermont for about 8 years, and that's when I like really started playing in like bands and shows.
Like by the Coat Factory.
Right by the Coat Factory.
Okay.
The first show I ever played was at a house party on a place called Bradley Street, and I remember this specifically because I was so nervous. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I showed up and there's just like, it was a massive party, like just a typical house party, playing in the basement. And during the band was called, at the time it was called Jonny Tea. It was Jonny Tea, like tea.
Uh-huh.
And we're playing, and actually it's funny, like some of the people who are in that band I'm so close with and still play music with sometimes. And we're playing, and during our song, which wasn't even, we weren't really like a hard rock band, we were kind of playing like more like, it was kind of like funk music, a fist fight broke out like in the basement.
Okay.
And people were just like, it was like, at first I was like, are people mosh pitting? Like, what is going on? And then I realized that the pit that was created was just two people like literally fighting. So we just like kept playing. Like, and it was really odd.
Yeah.
And I just remember that was like the first show. And then, yeah, I played a lot of music in Vermont. And then I've lived out here for 10 years where I kind of have just been mostly like worked doing recording stuff.
Opening the door, the parents know my name. La 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 la, seems to serenade. Falling down to the sun, me and my friends, one by one. I'm all out of questions.
I really loved play. I feel like because I lived in a college town, all of my shows experience were all house parties,
Yeah,
which was so fun.
that's the best way to
It's the best. It's
get-
so great.
comfy.
I miss that. You know,
Yeah.
I miss that. And it's funny because I remember the first time I played a venue, I don't think I realized, like in my head, I built it up to be something. I was like, oh my gosh, we're playing like a venue. Like, holy shit. Like, this is so cool. And then I remember playing and be like, this is not cool, actually. This isn't as fun. Like, I had that experience of being like, this is nowhere near as fun as basement shows, you know? Which I still kind of feel like that's something that I wish happened more here. Specifically at my age, is like party, outdoor, it could be outside or whatever, just like shows that are like, yeah, less venue-ish. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know if that answered your question. But
Yeah, just a little bit of background.
yeah.
So I'm coming into this having listened to 2 of your records
Cool.
a bunch of times.
Cool.
There's the eponymous record, Jonny
Uh-huh.
Kosmo, and
Yeah.
then the more recent Pastry. And I understand you're working on a third?
Yeah, there's a couple brewings.
Okay, cool.
Couple brewings. We just did like a live recording session with everyone, so there's gonna be like a live record, I think. Right. I'm hoping. Yeah.
So what's the live setup like? Because the albums are very densely populated with musicians.
Yeah.
Is the live situation similar?
Yeah, it's pretty densely populated. Few of the songs have like 16 people in the room. There's like a string quartet edition for a few of the songs, and then a few are just kind of like the live band, which we play with like 12. Usually it's
Mhm.
like a 12 piece. And it's fun. It's fun as hell. But that was like a few years ago. But I mean, it would be great. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm always down to expand, you know. It's hard to find spaces that'll fit that many people. You know, we become the audience.
Yeah. Yeah. I've definitely been a part of those where the band outnumbers the crowd.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's actually fairly new to be arranging strings for me. I actually really I've always wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done like a few arrangements for some friends' projects, but I don't think I really understood the possibilities rhythmically with strings. Like I think I always, just not coming from like a classical music background, I always thought of strings as like a very like kind of moody, like dronier type instrument. But then like I started listening to some older soul music and stuff where there's a lot of like plucking and like a lot of like rhythmic runs, like, you know, and like ELO using those like extreme like in your face disco type rhythmic runs, and I was like, oh, I really want to try something like this. So that was kind of what inspired me to do more string
Yeah.
stuff.
With Fool, as far as the arrangements goes, and kudos to, I did not realize that you did the string arrangements for that
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. It brought to mind for me like Isaac Hayes,
Totally.
Hot Buttered Soul, like that kind of vibe.
Love that. Love.
Yeah. I'm guessing you're a student of California soul.
I love soul music. I mean, I'm just really into, I'm really into, like, anything that kind of makes me melt a little bit. You know, and I love funk music as well, and R&B, and I think that a lot of my musical tendencies have been more, like, rock-oriented in the past, and I feel like there was kind of a shift, I feel like, in my music, specifically when I released that first Jonny Kosmo record, was like, I really wanted to lean into, like, making music that aligned more with, like, who I am as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was always, like, a conflict of, like, trying to create, I don't know, like, it took me a while to kind of find my feet as an artist, because I feel like so much of my mind was looped into, like, trying to be something that I'm not, and I like making feel good music, because
Yeah.
I like life. I love life, so it's like giving myself permission to write, like, happy songs was, like, a huge thing for me. Like, it was really anti what I thought art should be for a long time. And I think now it's just more like honoring wherever I am in the moment. I just feel like sometimes songs don't allow for, like, the fluidity of life in general. So, like, I feel like once they're created, there's, like, so much more possibility that I realize afterward there could be. Yeah.
Word. So were you doing like more of like a power violence type music before this, or like what's?
Yeah, before this I was more like Slipknot, it's like Godsmack, and then I kind of went into the Isaac Hayes direction.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know.
A little bit of sunshine on that.
Yeah,
Sour
just throw
soul.
a little sunshine on that.
You mentioned ELO, which is something that I definitely thought of when I hit play on your first record.
Yeah.
Which was the second record I heard.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah, I hadn't heard that until actually just a few weeks ago. Thanks for sending me a copy.
No problem.
Covered in happy face stickers. Very appropriate.
Yeah, Jeff Lynne is a friggin' genius. I mean, I don't even. I saw ELO perform like 4 years ago here.
Oh wow.
And I went on a whim. I was kind of like, do I really want to go to this? Like, it's like maybe just like a dad rock thing. Like, I didn't know what to expect, and I stand firm that it's like one of the top performances I've ever seen in my life. Like, the band was incredible. His voice is still just amazing, and like the care it took to put on that show was just, all the songs sounded like the record. It was insane. He had a full string, like, orchestra. It was insane. So it was, like, really inspiring. I was like, oh, I want to, like, have a massive band, too, if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you pulled it off.
Yeah. Trying.
Yeah. Let's hear a little bit of that.
A heart of stone won't see light. The past will grow and wait.
Nehemiah, how did you become involved with this gentleman to my right?
Well, Jonny needed a bass player for a show, and I had not been performing very much because I worked a lot. And he just so happens to be so organized that he hit me up with enough time for me to figure out how to get the time off from work. Now I'm addicted. It's the most fun band I've ever played in.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool.
And we've played in a number of bands together.
That's
so
true,
That's
yeah.
almost comes across as a diss.
That's funny.
Full disclosure.
I mean, you know, I try to keep them well fed with the grill going. You know, I cook them shrimp, so it's not really fair.
Yeah.
No one can really, you know, when shrimps are being made for your band, that's how you can keep them coming back.
It is quite an upgrade from hot dogs.
Yes.
I'll say
Yes,
that.
I'm afraid so.
Oh man. So wait, are you a barbecue guy?
I love barbecue.
Yeah.
I love food in general. I'm kind of a food freak.
I get that vibe. You know, I do want to talk about your music videos a little bit. I like, to what extent are you involved in the visual elements of those?
A lot.
A lot,
Like,
okay.
I'm pretty hands-on about the video. Honestly, there's one. So I worked with on 2 of the videos. The one for Fool and the one for Jessica Triangle on the first record. I worked with my friend Kevin, who makes amazing music videos and like is a dear friend, and I feel like we work really well together, and we, so the visual elements is like, I don't really know what I'm doing video wise, so I try and like, I'm also very like up for all sorts of ideas, but I do have like, I'd say like a lot of the video ideas I have come between like me waking up in the morning and like when your mind is kind of squishy, and I'm like, oh, that would be cool, but otherwise it's like hard for me to imagine the idea of video in my actual life. Like I think more in a musical way, so it's like really weird to think of visual accompaniment to music for me.
Yeah.
But like in the squishy space of like waking up, I usually come up with ideas. Like the one for Fool with that like, you know, weird creature. Like I was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if I like met some sort of weird creature that was created by my friend Peter, who's also a genius, and like we just kind of hung out.
And like the dancing piano keys.
Oh yeah.
Like so very like old school Hollywood.
Okay, that one I will totally. That one was not as much on me. I actually had a completely different idea for that video, and we had planned it out and everything, and then they were just like, it was like maybe 10 days before we were supposed to shoot it, and they were like, we just want to let you know that like this idea is really great, but in actuality we're realizing it will cost a lot of money to pull off. And I was like, oh, I don't really want to do that. And they were like, but we have this other idea that's could be really cool. And that video was made by the Giraffe Sisters. They have Giraffe Studios in Glendale, who are also dear friends, and they had the whole visual element for that video down to a T. I think it's amazing the way it turned out, and I was also very willing to just be like, I trust them enough because all the stuff they make I absolutely love, so I was like, let's do it. I showed up that day. I had to find friends who were, 1, free that day, and 2, were willing to wear a white like
unitard
suit. Unitard.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I was surprised how many people, like, it was kind of hard to find people who were willing to do those 2 things.
Oh, wow.
Like, not it was like hard, but it was just like the unitard, like some people were just like, I can't do it, and I'm like, that's okay.
I like to watch that video and try to figure out which one of my friends is which piano key by looking at their legs.
I think you can tell, like, two of them I can really tell.
Yeah.
I feel like Peter is very easy to tell.
Yep.
Peter from
Banny Grove.
Banny Grove. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Peter Nichols, who also did the video, like the Fool video with my buddy Kevin, and did the video for Strawberry Vision, which was on the first record.
Oh
It's
yeah,
also-
Strawberry Vision. I want to talk about that
Yeah.
tune because you hand the lead over to
Yeah.
a guest.
That song, honestly, might be, I wish that song got... I feel like that's, like, one of the best songs that I've ever, like, written or been a part of. I love that song so much, and it's really interesting because it also came about so spontaneously. Like, I wrote the music part, and my friend Cassie happened to be staying here
Mm-hmm.
for, like, a couple days, and I was sort of, like, writing some ideas over it. At this time, like, my tape machine was, like, right here in this room, and I was, like, kind of writing some ideas over it, and then I was like, Cassie, do you have any ideas for it? And then, like, she took, like, a voice note of it, just playing out of the speakers, and then, like, later that day, like, was like, let me try something, and then, like, just, like, did the whole thing over it, and I was like, so the whole song itself was written and recorded within, like, 36 hours, which is, like, really rare for
That's a
my
quick
music.
turnaround.
Yeah, for my music, that's rare.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I love the way that song turned out, and, like, it's really funny, like, to just also, like, think about that time period, because it was... Sometimes those things just... I feel like when the songs feel really easy, it's just, like, such a... they connect with me long term, you know? Like, if something just feels really easy and spills out of you, it's like... I mean, years later, I feel like I still, like, listen to that song and feel really connected to it.
I saw a lonely dog strolling right beside the roadway with feathers on his paws, howling ever so slowly, sniffing at the air, and no one in particular, rolling out the tongue at a victimless visitor. Why do the crickets sing to you with such butterscotch generosity from underneath those coconut trees in distinct virtuosity?
She goes by. I'm recording.
On the recording, Casey Rabbit,
Casey Rabbit.
which is Cassie Carlson, and she has a band called Gorilla Toss,
Okay.
which is an amazing band.
She displays more range in her vocals than most people who do sort of a
Yeah.
singing part.
Yeah.
She's all over the place
Yeah.
for a vocal part that doesn't have a melody.
One of the birds cahoo to you, mocking the sound of cellophane, slowly escaping into the air to slide underneath my window pane.
Totally. Well, my idea for this song was, like, I wanted it to be like a psychedelic, funky nursery rhyme. Like I wanted it to have, like, a nursery, like, rhyme type of feel, where it's like a story song, but, like, also kind of funky, and, like, hints of, like, Sesame Street in it, which has always been kind of a huge inspiration for my music.
And historically funky and psychedelic.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sesame Street is the shit. I just watched this documentary on Sesame Street. I didn't even know that much about it, but it's really wild history, and super cool show. Yeah.
Yeah. So you record mostly on tape? Is that
Yeah.
like exclusively, or you
I
mix
would
it
say-
up?
So, up until recently, yes. The Pastry record was... The first record was all tape, and then I just mixed it analog out, and it was done. I mean, I'm not like a purist about any recording medium, to be honest. Like, I talk to people who like record analog, and they're just like, no, like, this is the way to do it. Like, and I'm like, I'm not that way at all. It just happened to be the way that I like learned how to record music. Like, when I was younger, I always messed with like cassette machines, and then like I always thought of a computer as like school.
Yeah, use it to
Like,
compute.
Yeah, use it to write like word stuff. So I like never really like thought of a computer as a recording device for me. So I like up until recently when I got an interface, I had like a little bit of a feeling of like, oh, y'all been cheating a little bit. Like, I was like a little bit like, whoa, you can just like turn the volume down like that easily. Like, I felt kind of like, and I'm just like, where have I been? A little bit. But,
Right, you can just sort of draw in there and things like that. It does feel like cheating.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
coming
like
from
cheating, but it's just like I just was like confused that all the possibilities that were available.
If you enjoy this show and want to help support it, you can join the community of patrons at patreon.com/lowprofile. This show also receives in-kind support from several Olympia businesses, including Rainy Day Records, San Francisco Street Bakery, Schwartz's Deli, Old School Pizzeria, and Schurler Easy Premium Shitty American Lager from Three Magnets Brewing Company. Now back to today's interview with Jonny Kosmo.
A heavy element in all your recordings, and probably like the first thing that drew me into it is just wah-wah on everything. I don't know what it is about it, but the more I hear, like say with like, you know, Sly Stone, there's a riot going on.
Yeah.
I could not get enough of that because everything is just got the filter going up and down. And,
Yeah.
And you, Nehemiah, you told me that you played some straight, clean bass tracks for
right.
Kosmo over here.
Yeah.
And then when he played it back to you, it was just
Yeah. It was like my Bootsy Collins dream coming true.
yeah.
Yeah, I might have reamped it through the.
Beautiful surprise.
Yeah, that's not a question; it's an observation. But maybe you'd like to expand on that.
I mean, I like that you pointed that out because I'm trying to like. I'm trying to not do it as much. Sometimes I am such a sucker for like auto filters, and it's really funny you mentioned that because tomorrow I'm at like a market yard sale where I'm selling like a lot of like used gear, like friends stuff they gave to me, and I'm just gonna run a little vendor spot. And I was going through all my pedals, and I was just like, how many fucking auto filter wah pedals do I have? Like, I didn't even realize, like, specifically I have like 3 bass pedals that are auto filter wah pedals. I was like, and then I started putting them in the section to sell. Like, just 1 or 2, and then like when I finally decided, I was like, I'm not selling those.
I was about to pony up. Yeah. I still don't have one of those.
They're fun, yeah, they're super fun. But I think I mean, yeah, I love Sly Stone and like all that stuff, which is like heavy on the like. I just like the way it, you know, kind of like.
A truck that said Stone just drove
Really?
by
Is
right
that
when you
true?
said that. Yeah.
Damn, I love that sound, you know.
George Duke at all?
Oh,
George
hell
Duke
yeah.
much?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so fun. It's also really fun to see when you sometimes, like, if I'm recording like a sax or something, like I'll put just like a little bit on a horn while someone's recording, and they're like, it totally informs how they play too. You know, like that's the other cool thing I feel like about auto like filters and wah, specifically auto ones, is that like it really informs how people play the instrument. You know, for example, like the bass might be like a little bit more, when you play it with like a palm mute, a little bit more muted, you get some really cool like funky overtones. And yeah, I just also feel like wah sits really good with like the lyrics I write. Or like the like yeah, so like I'm just like into that zone.
It's good for the positive vibes.
Yeah.
With the fireflies, I'm in disguise. The psychology's been a part of me that I fossilize. Accepting of the artifacts from below. Feel the glow. When the shadow comes to greet the sun, I get a heart attack and a broken back 'cause it weighs a ton. Bug magic just to peel away from the smoke. Greet your ghost. Gotta learn to feel tonight. We're gonna learn to feel tonight. We're gonna learn to feel tonight. Oh, la, la.
Pretty uplifting material.
Yeah.
Generally, and I'm wondering if that ties in at all to your profession of choice. You're a therapist.
Yeah.
Nehemiah was telling me.
Yeah, I'm a therapist. I've had like a lot of heavy shit in my life happen to me. Definitely like the type of person who's very grateful to be alive. Like I definitely should be dead by all accounts.
Some close calls.
Some close calls. Like years of heroin addiction and almost dying several times, and then like having cancer at one point in my life, and like just like all sorts of flirtations with death that I feel like have informed like a lot of like, for me, music is so fun, and it really feels like one of the only spaces in my life that I don't feel confused about. I definitely have some songs on these records that are a little more like, they might on the surface feel like fun and wily, but like I feel like with a bent ear to the words, there's like a little bit more of like a introspective, like specifically on some of the more recent songs I've been writing, I feel like I'm diving like a little bit more into the territory of playing with like living within this cultural world that's like shifting and changing in a way that is kind of dismal and dark, but like holding on to like some sort of hope at the same time, if and when possible, you know? And I think that like holding on to that duality can be really hard for everyone, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to like, that's kind of where my lyrical nature is leaning these days, is just kind of like trying to hold the both hands, or like the dichotomy between like this like really crazy world that we're living in, and then like having some sort of glimmers of hope within it. Yeah.
Is there a specific song we could play to tie into that idea?
Yeah. I feel like All Strange Heroes really taps into that zone for me.
It's hard to know what's possible in the subtle way of an undertone. They look for cloud, a hungering to feed on doubt and othering. the heart is your queen. All your politicians, put your egos aside. Let love arrive. They preach the norm as practical, but I prefer the magical. Their lullabies like cigarettes.
That's like another song that I feel like came about within 3 days.
And act as if
Recorded it. It was during the pandemic, and I wrote it really quickly, and I feel like the words for me are like really like quintessential, like how I would really want to embody like life, like acknowledging all the like shit that's going on, but also acknowledging that like sometimes there's other sorts of narratives that don't get as privileged, and like pulling those forward, and then wondering about the possibilities of like that under like a community element. But yeah, that song I feel like taps into some of that for me. Yeah.
So when you're writing the songs, do you demo them yourself before you show them to the other musicians?
It kind of varies. Like sometimes I like the demos. Like with All Strange Heroes, like I recorded all that. I think I played everything on that one, like the drums and everything. And originally I wanted it to be a demo, and then I kind of liked the way it sounded, so I just kept it. But then there's sometimes where I'm like for example right now, like the live record we just made, like I feel like the whole thing was that like once we started playing some of the songs from Pastry live, like specifically like Nehemiah, right, like incredible bass player, I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, these songs just have a whole different life to them when you bring them to the band. So I was like, I wanted to capture that. So there's like 3 songs on the new live record that are like songs from Pastry, but they're just arranged differently and have different like kind of feel to them, I would say.
Yeah. This guy really, Nehemiah, you hit the sweet spot.
He's so good.
Thanks.
Super gifted.
It's really fun to try to recreate the songs and then like let them evolve in a different context. It's I think this band really excels at that.
Yeah.
Everybody brings so much.
Is this pretty much your main gig nowadays?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I'm just like trying to focus on, you know, playing music with my friends and supporting them, and
yeah,
you know, I'm not really going out and trying to find a band to play in, you know. Yeah, this makes me happy. It's fun.
Yeah. Are you double dipping at all, Jonny?
Like
collaborating with other folks?
Oh.
In the fondue? Yeah. The sonic fondue.
Yeah, the sonic fondue. I'm like very similarly like love helping make other people's dreams come true with songs. I mean, that's what I love about recording people, is like I feel like there's this within the archetype of a recording studio exists like a lot of stories of doubt, I feel like.
Yeah.
And like to be there and like help people like be like, let's like leave that outside of the fucking room right now, because I'm guessing you came here to have an alternative experience. Like
Totally.
Doubt is all out here, you know. It's like, let's come in here, have fun, like record your songs. So like, yeah, I mean I love supporting my friends and playing you know, whatever instrument they would need to make their, you know, show come alive or dream come alive. I kind of like float around to that regard. I play, there's like one band that I've been playing in consistently over the years, but it's like we do like tours that are like 6 weeks long, and then we don't play for like years. That band is called Mr. Elevator, and the guy who writes songs for that band, it's a really fun band to play, and I play bass, and it's like just synth, bass, and drums, so there's no guitars in it at all, which is kind of refreshing.
Is that your main axe?
I'd say like...
What's your comfy spot?
My comfy spot is like piano and guitar, I would say.
Okay.
But I'd say like lately, I've been writing on bass. I like writing songs on bass. Like a lot.
Same.
It's so fun to write on bass. Like over the past 2 years, I feel like that's something that I like just sit on the couch with and like fool around, because it just, you can inform so many different possibilities. And my music is really groove driven, so when I like come up with a bass line, I feel like I can float melodies around it, versus like a guitar takes up so much sonic space. Like if you like strum a guitar, it's like informs a lot, whereas like a bass leaves more open space, I feel like. So I've been writing more on bass, but yeah.
I think for me too, like bass is a good place to start from if you're walking around and a song hits you out of the blue.
Yeah.
And you got like back in the day, you got a pocket tape recorder. Now you got your phone, and you can get a bass line down.
Yeah.
Without any room for, like what's going on here. You've got the root notes, and you could build off of that anytime.
Totally.
And so I think that's why I like to write from that spot.
Mm-hmm. It's also just like the most fun instrument to play live, in my opinion.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Bass is like just so fun to play live. Like it's like, I'm always excited if like a friend's band is like, ask me, hey, like for this show, like we need a bass player, would you play bass? I'm like, if it's bass, I'm like almost always, if I'm available, totally in, because I just love playing bass live. It's so fun.
Fold your hands, fix your head, don't look stupid. Nothing's wrong. I forget how to speak, okay, Cupid. Shoot your shot. How to act on my brain in my body. It's a lie. What if he changes his mind? Are you looking for that special sign? Are you looking for that special sign? Are you looking for that special sign? Are you looking for that special someone? 2 weeks, round the clock, it's been non-stop. What's the deal? His ringtone on my phone makes my heart drop. Is this real? Play it cool, don't assume, don't get jealous. When you feel, what if he changes his mind? How would you love me if I spilled my drink on someone? Love me if I played my brains or something. Love me if I owned a flight of stairs. Oh, love me 'cause he's waiting, 'cause he's looking for that special sign. 'Cause he's looking for that special sign. 'Cause he's looking for that special sign. 'Cause he's looking for that special someone.
It's customary that I ask my guests, the more esteemed ones anyway, how you like your burger.
Oh, medium rare.
Well, I mean, a little more in depth, though. A little more specific.
Okay.
Like
I mean,
paint a picture. Someone,
yeah.
so anyone who comes to one of your shows
Totally.
can show up and bring you your dream burger.
Okay, definitely. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Toasted bun.
Yeah.
A little bit of butter on the bun, if you could. Just
Got
like
to.
a little bit. Then the burger. I don't know. How could you not want a cheeseburger? Anyone who just has a regular burger kind of confuses me. So I want a cheeseburger, medium rare. I like the burger to be like a meatier patty burger.
You like a thicker one.
Yeah, I like a thicker burger. And I also really like a little butter on the burger.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Like, cheeseburger, kind of classic lettuce, tomato, onion, extra onion. I'm an onion freak.
Pickles, pickle spear on the side.
Pickle spear on the side for
Okay.
me. Ketchup, light mayo, I'm just imagining in my head like a toothpick in it would be nice.
It adds
And,
to the charm. Yeah,
yeah.
presentation's a big deal.
I know. I love onions though. I'll say like raw.
Okay,
Raw.
okay.
Actually, it's funny. There's a taco truck across the street on Saturdays, and they call me Senor Cebolla, which is Mr. Onion.
Yeah.
Because I fucking love onions so much. I ask them for onions all the time. And they call my dog Cebollita, little onion.
Either one of those would be a great album title.
I know. I'm thinking about it at some point. I used to trade. They'd give me tacos on Saturdays, and I'd give the daughter piano lessons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And we were doing that for a while, and then.
Then she got too good.
Yeah. Then now she's at Walt Disney Hall. Yeah. But that's my burger, I would say. I mean, maybe even like, the pickle spear, some fries on the side sounds good to me.
I think this is the part where I'd like to thank both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So glad you came over.
Thanks for providing this beautiful porch. And what's the best way for the listener to find your stuff?
There's a Bandcamp page or there's a website that's JonnyKosmo.com, which is JonnyKosmo.com, and that has links to everything. And then there's Bandcamp and all that stuff. But yeah.
All right.
And for all the videos on YouTube.
All right, and we'll link all that on the page for this episode on Low Profile Podcast as well. Nehemiah, you got anything you want to plug?
I kind of want a hamburger.
All right.
Sometimes friends end up being just the last thing you know. Sometimes truths vary depending on the day. Story so it goes. Honestly, nobody knows. Jelly bean cherry has a side I'm slowly coming to find. Jelly bean cherry's laugh was kinda scary like a truth you never wanted to know. He used to hang out behind Lupita's Taqueria down on Silver Lake in Alvarado. Jerry was a simple guy, shady on the slide. When Gary gave a bound, jewelry could be found on a sugar high. Protected by some high-rich political ties. Jerry don't slip the states. Wrote a letter just to touch base. With the fake address, I suspect he's laying low, playing dominoes. Oh.
This has been the 63rd episode of Low Profile with the band leader Jonny Kosmo and bassist Nehemiah St-Danger, recorded in summer 2022. Right now, we're hearing a live recording of their song Jelly Bean Jerry, taped by Andrew Ebright at Cryptotropa Bar in Olympia, Washington, earlier this year. Since we spoke, a new Jonny Kosmo album, Light Speaks the Quilt, which features this song, has been released. And for the record, I think it's pretty great. The artwork for this episode was made by Lonnie Morrison. For more information about Jonny Kosmo and related links, you can visit lowprofilepodcast.com. You can also subscribe to Low Profile wherever you get podcasts so you don't miss out on future episodes or catch up on ones you might have missed. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.